So, since I get this question like 30 times a day, I decided it's not about intermittent fasting, thank God. But I decided that I'd make a video on bread and cereal and carbs, basically carbs, because people are always like, when do you eat carbs? Why don't you like to eat a lot of carbs? Is this a clean carb? Is this a clean carb? Do you eat bread? And I pretty much always advocate not eating bread, like zero bread at all. So I'll tell you what I think about bread and what I think makes a clean carb versus a dirty carb. So, all right, first of all, let's start with bread. So, when it comes to bread, it's made from grains. And people, it's sad because there's people that are actually trying to make a conscious effort to eat healthily. And obviously, I mean, they know not to eat a cheeseburger and fries. Everyone knows that wants to be healthy. But yet, the media and all the doctors keep telling you, eat whole grains. And they're just like screaming about whole grains in your face. So people get this idea that any product that says whole grain or whole wheat, as long as it's brown and says those two phrases, that means that it's healthy and they can buy it and eat as much as they want. And they think that they're actually doing a good thing. When in reality, all the packages are full of shit. They lie to you. They're going to tell you this is healthy, this contains this and that. They're just going to exaggerate and make it sound really good so you'll buy it. But you need to just look at a package and ignore everything it says and just go straight to the ingredients yourself to figure out what's in it. Because just because something says whole grains, whole wheat, that doesn't mean that there's not other shit in it that's totally bad for you. So when you have grains, you have whole grains and refined grains. So most bread is crappy and it contains refined grains, which it's just really like grinded up in the factory and it makes it smoother. And this process pretty much removes all the fiber, all the iron, all the vitamins. So enriched products, that usually means that it's highly processed, it's made from these refined grains, which are doing nothing good for you because they have no nutrition. So then there's whole grains. So people think that, as long as it says whole grain, that means it's healthy. But that's not true either because you're allowed to put whole grain on a product even if you use like 1% whole grain. So they might be using like total shit, like refined grains, and they'll add like this much whole grain to it. And they're allowed to say, made with whole grains, even though there isn't any significant amount of whole grains in the product to begin with. So a perfect example of this is, cereals like Lucky Charms and Cocoa Puffs. I mean, everyone knows those aren't healthy, duh. But now, I guess to make mothers buy it for their kids and stuff, it says on the box of Lucky Charms, made with whole grains, now made with whole grains. So, does that mean that Lucky Charms is suddenly healthy? No. It means they're using the same shitty, sugary ingredients that they've always been using, but they added like a little tiny smidgen of whole grain up in there so that they're allowed to put it on the box. So it doesn't take a huge amount of grains in order for them to be allowed to put that. They just put it there because technically this much of whole grains, it's whole grains, so it does contain whole grains. But people don't realize that. They just look at it, see whole grains, think they need to buy it. So these refined grains that are in everything, they make you fat, basically. They jack up your blood glucose levels, they raise your insulin level, and that's what makes you gain fat. That's what gives you type 2 diabetes, and that's what gives you crashes. So if you eat tons of bread, you're going to probably feel lethargic and crappy all the time, which obviously is not something you want if you want to be healthy and live an active lifestyle. So, yeah. People, this is especially the case like when you go out to eat. You can't really read the ingredients on the bread that you eat. You just order, you go to Subway, let me get this whole wheat bun. It's healthy because it's brown. But those buns are definitely, you can even taste it. It's just a sweet, sugary bun loaded with probably high fructose corn syrup, all this added sugar, and then they sprinkle those cute little oats on top, like 6 oats. So you think it looks all fresh baked and healthy. So this is what you should look at when you look at the ingredients. You should, hold on, this is what I have here. Alright, this is a perfect example. My parents buy this bread and they're convinced it's healthy, but obviously it's not. So you see this in the store, it says 100% whole wheat, whole grain. Okay? But wheat doesn't mean anything. The only thing that's healthy is if the ingredients say 100% whole grain. So see what they did here? They said 100% whole wheat contains whole grains. We don't know how much whole grains. We just know that they're in there somewhere in small quantities. It also has this cute little Grains for Life, has this cute little man dancing. It has this whole fucking story on the back saying, the goodness of bread, it's essential. No, bread is not essential, and you need to stop. Like, if you were to cut bread out of your diet and never eat it again, you won't die. You're just telling yourself that you need bread because bread is awesome and you love it. But you don't need it. If you cut it out and you never eat it again, you'll live. You'll do fine. So, bread's not essential. Bread does not contain any of the essential amino acids. Maybe steak and meat does, but I'm not telling you to cut out that. I'm telling you to cut out bread. So they go into this whole spiel. They're like, breads and grains are necessary for healthy eating because they provide many of the essential nutrients needed in the body. The U.S. dietary guidelines advise eating at least three servings of whole grains a day. So according to all the fucking fat people, yeah, they advise, the U.S. guidelines advise people to do this. They're definitely doing it, and that's why everyone is mostly fat and out of shape. So, you know, at least three servings, at least 3. So most people take it as, I could stuff my face with this bread at least 3 times a day, but it's wheat, it's okay. Alright, whatever. So let's ignore all this stuff that looks good, and if you go to the ingredients, it's the first ingredient is whole wheat flour, not 100% wheat. So that whole wheat flour is made up of a bunch of other unhealthy stuff besides whole grains. It says gluten, high fructose corn syrup. Okay, that's enough. You don't even have, there's a million other ingredients, but you don't even need to keep reading because there shouldn't be high fructose corn syrup in anything that's healthy. So obviously this would not be, even if it's whole wheat, whatever, this would not be clean. So don't say, is bread clean? No, because I just read to you all those ingredients. However, I feel like I'm on QVC. Buy these oats. Okay, this is Quaker Oats. This is a clean carb because if you look at the ingredients, this literally just says ingredients, 100% whole grain rolled oats. That's it. This, if you open this up, oats. That's it. There's nothing in here. There's no sugar, there's no flour, there's no poop. You know, it just is. Another thing. Rice. This is Success brown rice. The ingredients of the rice is whole grain brown rice. That's it. So this stuff grows in the ground. This stuff grows. This stuff can be found in the wild. It's not created in a factory using all these ingredients put together. Another thing, sweet potato, it doesn't even have a label, so you know it's good because it's just a potato. There's nothing in it. There's no weird ingredients, and that's it. So these are your safest bets for clean carbs because you know what's in them, you know the ingredients are simple, and they're not loaded with sugar. And another thing, this is old-fashioned oats. I'm not talking about, you know, instant oatmeal because those do have a lot of like weird ingredients and they're added with sugar. Like maple brown sugar oatmeal, it's supposed to be all sweet and sugary and cute. So there's tons of junk added to it. And don't ever say, if you ever say, oatmeal is boring, like, have you ever had a thought process? Have you ever thought to yourself, oh, I can add my own real fruit, or I can add my own real nuts? Okay, see, there's even a picture teaching you that you can do that. Okay. Next thing is cereal. I don't even have cereal in my house, but same exact thing goes for cereal. You see, contains whole grains, contains whole wheats. Same thing I said with the Lucky Charms. They'll just add whole wheat, whole grains, vitamin, whatever, to a box of cereal when it really just contains small quantities and a lot of sugar and a lot of carbs. The serving size of a bowl of cereal is usually two-thirds of a cup. Two-thirds of a cup is like this much. It doesn't even fill up most normal sized bowls that you have in your house. So I can bet you $100 that I don't think anyone has sat down, ate two-thirds cup of cereal and got full. Plus you're eating it with milk and you're going to want to keep eating it. So what would you rather have? Would you rather eat just a plain bowl of healthy oatmeal that's satisfying? Or would you have a bowl of shitty ass cereal that's sugary, gonna raise your insulin levels, and you're gonna wanna keep eating bowl after bowl? So if you do keep eating several bowls, it's gonna add up to a shit ton of carbs. So a lot of people ask me about, like natural breads that are 100% whole grain. Can I eat those breads? Are those clean? Like Ezekiel bread. Ezekiel bread is the healthiest, I think the healthiest bread because it doesn't contain flour, it's gluten-free, and the ingredients are seriously just whole grains and a bunch of sprouts and stuff. So while it is a healthy natural carb, it's still, you don't need to eat a bread. If you really want to have it, you can't just say, oh, well, because this bread's healthy, I can just eat it with reckless abandon all day. Even healthy, clean carbs, even stuff like potatoes, even stuff like oatmeal, even though it is really healthy and it has benefits, you can't keep eating it. It should be like the smallest part of your day, unless you're really trying to like bulk up. And even then, like you shouldn't just keep eating carbs, especially right before bed. You really don't need to be eating a bowl of rice because you need to stop thinking of carbs as like the most delicious thing and start thinking of them as your fuel. This is what you need. You could have it for breakfast, you could have it post-workout, whatever, but don't just keep eating it all day long. I personally choose to not eat Ezekiel bread at all because for me personally, a piece of bread or 2 pieces of bread is not filling at all. It's like eating paper and air. So I'm not going to want to have just one serving size of that bread. I'm going to want to eat the whole loaf in order to feel any sort of fullness. If I eat a bowl of oatmeal, I feel full and I feel satisfied. So I'd rather spend my daily carb allowance eating something like oatmeal where I'm going to feel satisfied rather than eating a shit ton of this bread that's not going to make me full and my carbs are going to add up really quickly. So, yeah, the moral of the story is if you want to know if something's clean, ignore everything the box says and just look at what's in it. If there's anything weird added to it, it's not clean. I mean, I'm not saying your diet has to be 100% clean. Like, I am a fan of snacks like sugar-free pudding, sugar-free ice pop to curb cravings. That's obviously not clean since it contains like sucralose and all that stuff. But that's not going to make you fat. And obviously supplements like protein powders and stuff and like pre-workouts, stuff like that, obviously that's not clean. That's made from a ton of shit. But that's meant to help you. That's not meant to make you fat. All of these bread products, cereal products, carbs that you guys are eating, they're not here to help you. They don't do any benefits. They don't give you energy. They don't give you any nutrition. So there's really just no point in eating carbs that are unclean unless you really don't care about being ripped. Okay, so that's the end of this video. Enjoy your life.